I'm going to take a look at Maui-1 Aurora, a new distribution with the KDE Plasma 5 desktop. First, a little background. Maui is a continuation of the Ubuntu-based Netrunner distribution produced by Blue Systems of Bielefeld, Germany, led by Clemens Tennies Jr. Ubuntu is the KDE version of Ubuntu, and Netrunner has been a more polished derivative of Ubuntu. There is also a version of Netrunner based on Manjaro. Maui differs from Netrunner in that it's based on KDE Neon instead of Ubuntu. KDE Neon is produced by the developers of KDE and features the latest long-term support version of Ubuntu, in this case 16.04, but with the cutting-edge version of the KDE desktop environment and KDE-based software still under development. In that sense, it's partly a rolling release with respect to the KDE environment and partly a stable long-term support release with respect to the Ubuntu base. So how does Maui differ from KDE Neon? In my brief experience, it has a better graphic design and leaves out some of the components of the KDE 5 series that are still experiencing problems, like the Discover Software Manager, which is still somewhat buggy. I also noticed that Maui cuts out some of the hassle traditionally associated with KDE, such as the redundant password entry required by the KDE wallet to access Wi-Fi. It also has a slightly different assortment of software, including some real improvements from my point of view. I should mention that Blue Systems has, for the last few years, been the major sponsor of Ubuntu, replacing Canonical in that role. It also sponsors the KDE edition of Linux Mint, and Blue Systems is a major supporter of the KDE project itself as the employer of several KDE developers. So it shouldn't come as a shock that this distribution is the best implementation of KDE 5 I have seen to date. This is Maui-1 as it first appears. I'm not going to do too much to it. I've already added some applications to the panel, and I'm going to make the panel a little bit smaller. Just more to my taste. This is KDE Plasma 5.7.3, and that will be updated as you continue to use Maui. As you may recall, Ubuntu 16.04 came with KDE Plasma 5.5. There are now 4 menu alternatives. In my case, by default, it came with the application dashboard, which is a full-screen array of icons. It's one of the better such arrays. There's now a smaller version of that called Simple Menu. And that's also an array, but it's much more compact and requires less surfing with the mouse or touchpad. Then there's the traditional KDE application launcher. and the one I prefer, which is the application menu. It's a nice, simple, cascading menu, and it still has the search function. Kdenlive. I'm going to get rid of the icons on the desktop by right-clicking on Folder View Settings and changing that to Desktop rather than Folder View, and clicking on Apply. And the icons are gone. I'm right-clicking on what are now desktop settings, and you'll notice there's quite an array of backgrounds. I like the one it comes with, so I'm going to leave that. Now the applications provided with Maui are a little bit different than the ones that were provided with Ubuntu, and also slightly different from the ones that were provided with KDE Neon. There are lots of games here. I suppose most notably Steam comes installed, which can allow you to play lots of for-profit games. Under graphics, it has the GIMP image editor provided with this system, as well as the KDE applications such as Gwenview, Carbon, Krita, and Scanlight. Under Internet, it has Firefox, which is not unusual, but it also comes with Skype, and it comes with Thunderbird Mail rather than Kmail. Under Multimedia, it has quite a bit. It has Audacious, Gmusic Browser, Handbrake. Here's Kamoso, which is a webcam application. Kdenlive with the video editor comes by default, Pulse Audio volume control, the VLC media player, and VocoScreen, the screen recorder that I'm using to record this session. Under Office, it has the full LibreOffice suite as well as Ocular, the PDF viewer. Under Settings, it has System Settings, which takes you to this extensive set of KDE settings. Under Appearance, it has a lot more options than KDE Neon or Ubuntu. Comes not only with Breeze and Breeze Dark, it also comes with Maui Plasma, which is what's installed, Netrunner Black X, Netrunner Blue X. Your desktop theme, it also has a much larger choice of themes. I'm not going to go into them all here, but as you can see, it vastly exceeds that which is available with KDE Neon or with Ubuntu. Under System, it has the Synaptic Package Manager, which I like, and notice that it does not have Discover, the KDE graphical package manager, which in my experience is still rather buggy in its current state of development. So here's a case where they left out something that just wasn't working very well yet. Of course, it has Dolphin, a very good KDE-based file manager, and it has gparted, the GTK partition editor, rather than the KDE partition editor. Has the Info Center, which is quite extensive, Console, which is the KDE terminal emulator. Also has something called Yakuaki, which is a drop-down terminal emulator. It has the K-Wallet Manager, but I want to point out that I did not have to wrestle with the K-Wallet Manager as I've had to do in the past with KDE Plasma when I wanted to connect to my Wi-Fi. I was able to avoid having to enter my password the second time just to connect to my Wi-Fi network. Network drives. It has the SUSE Studio Image Writer, which allows you to add disk images to USB sticks. Has the Update Manager, which is summoning us now, actually. It comes with VirtualBox installed. I haven't tried it yet. And Windows wireless drivers, which I don't need. I don't have Windows on this machine anyway. Utilities, it has KWrite, which is a text editor, Arc, which is an archiving application, K3B, which is a disk burner, Kate, which is also a text editor, Knotes, which is a note taker, and Spectacle, which is a screenshot application. Then under Power and Session, it has lock, logout, switch user, suspend, reboot, and shutdown. That's what happens when you accidentally lock yourself out. I have a K-Sysguard running, which is showing you the resource load. And as you can see, there was a big spike when I started Avoco screen. It gradually subsided a bit. Now the Update Manager is beckoning, so I'm going to see what that recommends. As you can see, it bears a stark resemblance to the Update Manager on Linux Mint, rating the level of updates. I'm going to click on Install Updates. And there will be additional changes. So I'm going to click on OK. Notice it updates with Synaptic Package Manager. And here I'm going to pause the video. Well, this was a big upgrade, but it didn't take as long as it takes with that other operating system, and at least I can see what's happening with this one. Seems to be up to date, and it did not install the level 4 application, which I didn't check. Check the info center. See if anything radical has changed. And now it appears that I'm running KDE Plasma version 5.7.4, so it's gone up a bit since I started. So that's my quick look at Maui-1. I should mention that in the README file they say that you should expect some glitches because the Plasma 5 system is still under development. And I did encounter some crashes, primarily when the Voco screen was running. So I don't know whether that's the system or Voco screen. I suspect the latter. I also want to mention one thing. I tried to install Simple Screen Recorder with the PPA that is usually recommended for Ubuntu-based distributions, and it wouldn't accept the PPA, so that's another unique feature of Maui that may not apply to Ubuntu itself. This is XRAM Tech. Thanks for watching.